You're most welcome to NEWS360. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. My name is Issa Moni.
And I am Nanekia Mensah Baba. Coming up in the bulletin tonight.
60 Headlines is brought to you by Deluxipate, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray,
Calipo, and Nido Fortigro. Your love, their future.
And in the headlines, MP for Ewutu Senya and Deputy Minister of Communication George Anda recuperating after his vehicle got involved in an accident.
Major food baskets in Central District of the Ashanti region cut off due to neglect of roads.
On Mission tonight, we will tell you the story of the sale of firewood by pupils of Ogegilege in Pandai district of the northern region.
In international news, Coptic Christians in Egypt take part in funerals of pilgrims killed by gunmen as they headed to a monastery on Friday.
We have the detail of these and more coming up in the next hour. You want to stay with us on TV3 Ghana, Facebook, also on channel 279 on DSTV. The detail now.
Right, thank you, Kuya. Let's begin with this story, which is, just coming in about an accident involving the Deputy Minister of Communication. Member of Parliament for Ewutu Senya and Deputy Minister of Communication, George Anda, is recuperating at the 37th Military Hospital after his vehicle was involved in a head-on collision with an articulated truck earlier today. The accident occurred on the Kasua-Budubrem Road. George Anda was flown to Accra after emergency medical care was given at a hospital in Kasua. Information available indicate the MP was in his constituency on his usual tour on weekends when the accident happened. The minister was in the company of his police detail, who party functionaries, together with the articulated truck driver, also sustained various degrees of injuries. Right, we have Charles Amuansa. Charles is the NPP chairman for Ewutu Senya West, and Charles has joined us on the phone, and he'll be speaking to us about this accident involving Deputy Minister George Anda. Charles, good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Good evening, my big boss. How are you?
I'm very well, and you?
It's been a while.
Yes, I mean, this news is really hitting us in the face, but we'd like to find out how our good friend George Anda is doing after the accident. How is he doing? Yeah,
George is doing well. Actually, I left the hospital about an hour ago, 37 Military Hospital, and he's responding to treatment. But I was with him and the wife and then my regional treasurer. He was talking to us as
So can you give us a few details? What exactly happened?
Please come again with your question.
Yeah, I want to know what exactly happened. Can you give us a few more details?
Yeah, thank you very much. Greetings to your viewers. Today, Saturday, is our usual constituency meeting, monthly meeting. And so we have a meeting around 9. We're supposed to have a meeting around 9 a.m. Then I believe he was also coming from Accra. He wasn't in the constituency. He was rushing to the constituency office at Ewutu Breku. I was also, but you know, usually at the weekends, there's this thick traffic from the Udumbram Church and then the Kasha on the Winneba Road. Because of the bad nature of the road within the Udumbram area, it creates an excessive traffic from there towards the Kaswa end of the road. I was in the traffic myself. I had to park and then join Okada to get to the party office. I believe that Lane got to the middle of the traffic and he thought that he could go through the Kaswa road towards the Ofako and then join the J River Road. That road links up to the Bigger Pole. That is 100 meters away from where the road is, the Budubram Road is the section that is facing traffic. And that road, there's a sharp curve. There's a sharp curve on that road. Normally, but it's not a busy road, but because you have these sandwinners and there's stone quarries around it, it's only the tipper truck that ply that road. According to the driver I spoke with at the 37 military officer, he said that when they were moving towards the Loye direction, this at the sharp curve, this tipper truck just appeared, and then he was running towards the other direction. The driver tried to swerve him, but he didn't work out, and then he was hit by the side of the head-on collision happened, and then they had to land at the other stretch of the road, the other side of the road. That's exactly happened. But he was in the car with the MP, the driver, the police guard, and then my deputy organizer. As I speak with you, they are all in the hospital, 37 military hospital, responding to treatment.
All right. So, Charles, can you tell us if the driver of the vehicle that hit George Anders' vehicle is also injured? Do you know about that?
Which one? The tipper truck driver?
Yes, exactly.
But after his name was carried, but at the moment the accident happened, it was carried to the St. Gregory Hospital at Kumwabu Dubrum. I did have to thank Dr. Lawrence for attending to the main agenda and then the other 4 constituency officers. Right. I got to know about the driver with the truck driver. Yes. When we are at the 37 military hospital, I got to know that he's took to his heels. They are trying to find him. He's run away. He's dead. Okay. But the car has been found at the police station.
Okay, Charles Abuansa, we're very grateful for the input you've made to our news this evening. Charles Abuansa is the NPP chairman for Ewutu Senya West, and he tells us George Anda is responding to treatment and he will be very well soon.
Well, some good news there, but let's still look at some more developing stories. As a member of parliament for South Dai, Roxy Nelson Dafia-Mekpo is calling for the dismissal of the Director General of Ghana Maritime Authority over the allegations of conflict of interest and misappropriation of funds. But a private legal practitioner, Martin Pebu, wants thorough investigations into his alleged misconduct, and he was speaking on TV3's New Day.
MP for South Day, Roxy Nelson Dafia-Mekpo, condemned the conduct of the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, then he must be compelled to step aside.
The maritime industry is very huge and Ghana is doing well. Oil exploration or all that. Ships are coming here a lot. But my call is that he should step aside for the investigations to proceed.
Deputy Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party, Kamaldeen Abdul, said the board of the Maritime Authority should be allowed to probe the allegations and prefer their recommendations.
We have campaigned on the fact that good governance is something that we're going to espouse and we're seeking to push forward. Now, if at the end of the day, there are aspects of certain happenings in government that points not to the good governance that we spoke about, I think it's a worry. So clearly, I want to say that, look, let them investigate, let it come out, let's see what happens, then we can move on.
Private legal practitioner Martin Pebu, however, wants a thorough investigations by an independent body.
It would have been better that we do a third party that's not connected with the authority. That would have been far better, so that there will be that independence. Because you see, for a board that he sits with all the time and all that, you know, even there will be a perception of bias even before they start a job. So that one, perhaps we should look at it. There are so many agencies that can be asked to do these investigations. For instance. Exactly, so many. So that then when we get the components, well, we can comment with full authority.
President of Accra Institute of Technology, Professor Clement Didonu, said the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Kwame Owusu's comments at the news conference were reckless and irresponsible.
How many small primary schools could be built without 1 million Ghana cedis? How many small clinics or health centers could be built with that 1 million Ghana cedis. He alone, 1 million Ghana cedis were used to renovate a house, and he wants 13 air conditions and never mind electricity. Who is going to pay for electricity? Is he the one going to pay for it? For me, all in all, his press conference is an argument in reverse. It doesn't make it any good, and he's arguing against the flow of reason.
Well, let's stay on issues arising out of New Day. And Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekbo, has assured Ghanaians of Parliament's commitment to passing the Right to Information Bill. Deputy Communication Director of the New Patriotic Party, Kamaldeen Abdullahi, is of the view that the bill needs fine-tuning before passage. Meanwhile, the president of the Accra Institute of Technology, Professor Clement Didonu, said Ghanaians have the right to information and called for the bill to be passed. They spoke on New Day.
The citizens of Ghana have a right to information. We've been waiting for 20 years. Yes, of course. In today's social media age, can you imagine citizens getting the information and then throw it on social media? You give a lot of head to the politicians. So they are scared stiff. Yes. So these days, 20 years ago, we don't have social media.
So it calls for better implementation.
Oh, well, it calls for us to
pass it
pass it, and then we live with it. The citizens have a right.
The 7th parliament that I am part of, we are committed to passing this law.
Okay.
That's my point. And I'm part of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. We have considered the bill at committee level. We have brought it back to Parliament. We are at the consideration stage. We are moving steadily. And we must also not be stampeded into crafting a bad law.
That's right.
That's my duty. Sure. So I want to assure everybody that as Parliament, we are committed to passing this law.
There are commitments from both sides.
Okay.
Individuals may have their problems. But see, somebody talks about 22 years, 18 years, and all this thing. Look, the RTI in Sri Lanka, for instance, when Sri Lankans thought that, look, let's adopt it, it took them over 16 years. You know why? Sometimes the implementation is a problem. You can have all these fine laws sitting there. But if you don't find to, you just said that the rough edges must be looked at before we pass it. Now, if you don't look at those rough edges, you don't look at how you implement it, just churn out a law, then it's sitting there and you can do it.
Right, let's move on to education now. And the Shia Senior High Technical in the whole municipality of the Volta region is faced with inadequate infrastructure. Peter Kwadato reports academic and extra teaching activities are still being conducted under trees.
The Shia Senior High Technical School was in the news for lack of facilities shortly after the introduction of the free senior high school education. The former community day school was forced to convert to a boarding facility due to the increase in the number of students from different parts of the country and who could not afford to stay on their own. This block, donated by a benevolent organization at the school's formative years, was converted into boys' dormitory, leaving the former middle school block as the only classroom facility. Students were then pushed under trees and palm branch sheds for academic activities at the expense of the weather and reptiles. Cooking was done in the open for students who would have to lift desks and chairs to and from the dining hall, another facility acquired through a benevolence gesture. The Shia Residents Association stepped in to provide this pavilion to cater for some academic activities. The only visible change a year after our last visit is the roofing of the makeshift kitchen and the concreted floor of the boys' makeshift bathhouse. The Shia Senior High School has no bus. TV3 was told teachers have to hire commercial vehicles or spend money to repair buses of other schools for extra curriculum activities. The school also does not have a teaching and learning resource center. A Ghana education tender in the Ghanaian Times of October 15, 2018 listed beneficiary schools in the Volta region, including those already benefiting from similar projects, but excluded the Shia Senior High Technical. The school has all the complement of dedicated teachers, pushing largely lower graded individuals to their limit in all academic pursuits.
And let's move from the Volta region to the middle sector of the country. And a major food basket in the central district of the Ashanti region has been cut off from the rest of the country due to neglect. Roads leading to the area are in a deplorable state. Peter Kwadato reports both the sick and goods are carried across the stream for access to Ejura.
These pictures prompted our attention to Okun. This Land Cruiser was reportedly rushing a woman in labor to the Ejura hospital. It took the bravery of the people to remove the woman, who was later carried on a motorbike to Ejura. That was 1 month ago, and since then, no vehicle has ventured into Okun. Roads leading to the regional capital in Suta are unmotorable, hence Oko residents perform every activity at Ejura. Even here, years of neglect have led to the blockage of these culverts, resulting in the stream cutting through the road, preventing easy access. For over a month and counting, commuters have to carry every luggage across the stream to catch vehicles going to Ejura on Sundays and Tuesdays. This pregnant woman was on her way to Ejura on Tuesday, October 30, 2018. She can only return to Okun after 1 week when vehicles make a return journey. This trader from Accra was compelled to abandon her consignment after a month of waiting for transport to the city. These vehicles, including the Land Cruiser and the private vehicle of the resident Reverend Father, are parked here permanently. Owners would have to wade through the stream to drive their vehicles.
So we are just reminding the government, all those who are in charge of this place, that when they check their Ghana map, they will find that there is a place called also Oku, which is under Insuta district within the Ashanti region. That the people are completely abandoned when you look at the situation.
Roads are in a deplorable state. Even tractors have difficulty plying them. Okun is a predominantly farming settlement in the Afram Plains North and the central district of the Ashanti region. The vast arable land affords inhabitants the opportunity to produce all kinds of tropical crops in large quantities. However, it was not until 1973 that an access road was constructed to the area. Residents want urgent attention to save them from preventable deaths and economic losses.
And in a related development, maize farmers at Techiman in the Bunahafo region fear their stock of maize will continue to go waste due to absence of dry machines and lack of storage facilities. The maize sellers are appealing to authorities to provide machinery and storage facilities.
Techiman in the Brongahafo region is one of the main producers of maize in Ghana. Maize produced here is sold to traders from Accra, Bogatanga and neighboring countries like Burkina Faso, Togo, Benin and Cote d'Ivoire. But the condition under which maize is dried and stored is a source of worry to traders. Several maize sellers at the Techiman market dry their maize on tarpaulin on the ground despite threats of rainfall at the time TV3 visited. The maize dealers say they employ people to sort out the maize from impurities as extra cost before it is bagged for sale. A bag of maize at the Techiman market sells between 130 to 150 Ghana cedis based on the quality. Around the same period last year, it was selling at 160 Ghana cedis. The maize had turned brownish due to bad weather and the manual process of drying. The Fafrahin of Techiman, Karim Musa, who also sells maize, says their livelihoods have been impacted by the challenge. The Techiman Maize Association Secretary Obi Yabua was unhappy about the current drying process.
Sometimes when the customers come from Kumasi, Accra, and they see that the maize is not dry well, they reduce the prices.
In the early 1980s, government constructed dryers and silos in Techiman and in Kranza of the Brongahafo region. They could dry hundreds of tons of maize a day, but the machines have broken down. The municipal chief executive of Techiman, John Donyine, said the silos are out of fashion. According to him, the assembly will soon provide modern dryers and silo equipment to solve the challenge.
Nationwide, all have been abandoned. Right now, they are not in the good shape. So that's why current government is embarking on the massive construction of modern warehouses that will take over from the work of that the cell used to be doing.
You're watching NEWS360, and remember the news is available on channel 279 on DSTV. We'll return shortly with Mission.
You're watching NEWS360. Thanks for staying with us. Time now for Mission, supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida UK Aid and the European Union. Beginning with tonight, pupils of Ogigilege in the Pandai district of the northern region sell firewood every morning before attending classes. Now, this is to enable them fend for themselves, and their woes are compounded by poverty and parental neglect.
The Ogigilege community is located about some 12 kilometers from the district capital, Pandai, and is inhabited by more than 500 cucumbers. Subsistence farming is what residents here do, and poverty is everywhere. Ogigilege has more than 5 adjoining communities, and children here have the zeal for education, but poverty has shattered the dreams of many. Those who are striving to acquire formal basic education also go through a lot. In fact, only the strong-willed have survived the test of time. There is no school serving Ogigilege, and so pupils walk for about 12 kilometers to attend school in Pandai. The mission team's visit to Ogigilege community was informed by these school children who on a Monday morning carrying firewood to school. Ideally, the educational needs and daily upkeep of each pupil are dependent on the firewood they carry. They are pupils of the Isakia Primary School. Surprisingly, all the pupils we met were attending school on empty stomach. Blijo Natimbe, a class 4 pupil who feels bad about their parents' exploitation, told the mission team more about their struggle for basic education.
We were asked to buy books, but my parents cannot afford. So they asked me to go and sell firewood. This is what I do daily. We gather the firewood to be sold the next day when we return from school.
She tells the mission team the firewood she carries is worth 5 cedis, but she is only entitled to 50 pesos of the amount. The remainder would be used to cater for the home. She and her younger sister, Blijo Imabi, have been carrying and selling firewood for the past 3 years, but they have not had their school needs met. Her younger sister recounts the difficulty in selling the firewood before going to school each day.
When we carry the firewood and we are late for school, we put them down and sell after school. Sometimes a bundle of firewood takes about 5 days before we are able to sell. As a result, we learn on empty stomach.
Blijo Natimbe, for instance, has only one exercise book for which she does all 7 subjects. Their problems are not different from what other pupils go through. Children here are subjected to carry loads that are heavier than them. Because of this, most of them drop out of school and get impregnated in the The mission team later went to present some stationery to Blijo Natimbe in her school and interacted with the school authorities. Head teacher of the Isakia Primary School, Suraji Amaski Sule, said the trend is worrying.
Every day you see children come to school carrying firewood and then yam to come and sell because they can have themselves fed during break. And sometimes before the children will even come to school, 9, 10. Instead of 6:30, they are supposed to report. They will be here sometime 9, 10, 11. When you add that, I'm going to sell firewood. And in fact, we've been battling with it, but we don't know how soon or how this thing will end because it's still a problem here.
He said the practice of selling firewood is affecting the studies of the pupils.
Sometimes when you are even teaching after first break, around 11 thereabout, you see the children that concentration is not there. From the face, you also get to know that this child is hungry. Some ask them that no, they don't give them. I will say why? That the parents said when they give them money, they will spoil them. The day they did not get to give them, they will steal.
He again said efforts to get parents to discourage the practice have been fruitless.
Whenever we organize PTA meeting, we say they agree with us. Oh, it will be stopped, it will be stopped. But within maybe 2 or 3 weeks, you see them carrying firewood and then yam. When you ask that, the parents, but we told your parents they should allow you to do this weekends, Saturday, Sunday, so that Monday you use that money to come and then feed in the school. Well, Saturday, Sunday, they use them on their farms and then other activities.
The mission team gathered on occasions where the pupils find no buyer for their firewood, they exchange them for food. The team then visited the parents to demand answers. We first met mother of one of the pupils, who is also a widow, preparing supper for the family. For her, she says nothing wrong asking her children to sell firewood each morning before attending school. Market days are busy times to cash in, and so enrollment dwindles. District Chief Executive for Pandai, Emmanuel Atablata, said intensifying efforts to sensitize parents is key.
We have to just engage the parent to let them know it is the responsibility of them at least just do a little to also help their children to go to school.
For pupils at Ogegelege and its adjoining communities to attain the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4, which promotes universal access to quality education, and Goal 1, which focuses on poverty alleviation by 2030, would require key stakeholders' commitment. Stanley Niblewu, TV3 News, Ogegelege.
Right, so let's still remain in the northern region, still in the Pandai district, where pupils of Basari Kura do not often go to school, and reason being that the teachers are often absent. Let's find out why.
Basari Kura is one of the neglected hinterland communities in the Pandai district. Farming is their main source of livelihood. The community, which is inhabited by some 400 people, also has a school. However, quality education is not guaranteed because teachers deployed by the Ghana Education Service to teach do not regularly attend school. Parents here put up a 3-unit March structure to accommodate classes 1 to 6 pupils, owing to their interest for education. But children of school-going age still roam in the community. Classrooms have been abandoned as goat excreta is visible everywhere. We were told school has not been in session for about 3 days.
A teacher for no teacher for no a being per school no but say a ben tia neka.
Teachers posted to this community do not often come to school because they claim they are not being paid. The school has large enrollment, but it has been in a poor state.
Chief of the community, Bakuba Anaba, who is also the chairman of the Parents Teacher Association, is worried efforts to compel the teachers to be punctual have failed, claiming they are not being paid.
Yaka aya meeting ayo meeting sa some de obaka ne say yentua no ka.
The community has engaged the teachers in several meetings, but they show no commitment to teach, and it is affecting the pupils.
But District Chief Executive for Pandai, Emmanuel Ata Tasablata, is promising he will address the challenge.
What we have observed is that some of them, if you put them, the communities that they are coming from, because they are making this small farming, their interests lie on the farming more than teaching. So we want to swap them and monitor.
Family planning is not an option in this community. The chief of the community, for instance, has 32 children with 4 women, but only 21 of the children were at home when the mission team visited. He has set a target of giving birth to 40 children. His elderly children work on his farms while he educates the younger ones. On some occasions, he uses them for entertainment. He justified why he wants to give birth to 40 children.
I want to give birth to 40 children because I will be able to provide their needs.
At Basari Kura, people take pride in giving birth to many children. In the midst of poverty and hardship, his elderly son, Bakuba Bula, believes taking after his father is a way to maintain the family's legacy.
If my father gives birth to 50, I will also give birth to 50. If he gives birth to 100, I will also do same because he has been able to cater for all his 4 wives and numerous children. So I feel I should also do same.
His sisters are married off at tender ages. Bukuba Anaba has already married off his 16-year-old daughter. This practice is rife at Basari Kura, hence efforts would be required to curtail it.
Well, my father has 3, so I might follow suit. Well, that will do for Mission Tonight, supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, UK Aid and the European Union.
Welcome back. Let's do some more stories on NEWS360 tonight. And 2016 GJA Journalist of the Year, Kwame Sefakai, has described as slavery the low remuneration of some journalists in the country. Sefakai said the situation is a constraint on both the economic and professional development of Ghanaian journalists. He spoke with Noam Falon in Accra.
The International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists is a UN-recognized day observed annually on November 2. The day draws attention to the low global conviction rate for violent crimes against journalists and media workers, estimated at only 1 in every 10 cases. A survey conducted by the Trades Union Congress in 2011 found out that many of the country's journalists receive salaries below the national minimum wage. Critics believe the low salaries of some journalists makes it difficult for them to fight corruption. The Professor P.A.V. Ansah Journalist of the Year 2016, Kwame Sefakai, describes low remuneration of journalists as violent exploitation.
Journalists are not getting good financial reward for what they do. Sometimes it's cheating, it's disrespect, it's slavery, it's abuse. Media owners have also taken advantage of the fact that these are mostly young, enthusiastic people who are looking for work.
Kwame Sefakai called on media owners and managers to pay attention to their journalists as low remuneration can negatively affect the integrity of their work.
Some of us have also sold ourselves short. We haven't improved upon ourselves, on our talent, on our skills.
Kwame Sefakai encouraged media professionals to pursue self-development to upgrade their skills and establish their worth.
More news tonight. PZ Cousins says thanks to its Cousins Baby Moments competition, a lot of families have bonded in the process of sharing priceless moments with their children. The competition, which was launched 3 months ago, had over 500 babies participating, with 10 top babies making it to the grand finale.
PZ Cousins has a strong heritage of caring for babies, focused on a strong bond between a mother and her baby. This heritage is reflected in its heart-shaped logo, which symbolizes the mother's love, protection and care for her baby. The PZ Cousins brand has, over the period, in entrenching its position in the market, embarked on several campaigns, especially targeted at mothers and their children. It donated 15,000 worth of products on Mother's Day. PZ has also created a strong online community on Facebook, reaching some 180,000 community members. The season 1 of the PZ Cousins Baby Moment started some 13 weeks ago with 500 valid entries. Hafsa Arthur is the head of brand development and activation PZ Cousins Ghana.
You can have dinner together. Today, it's even a luxury to have dinner with your parents or with your children because we are out and about. And come weekend, we are doing everything. Truth is, we love our children. We buy stuff for them. But the actual quality time of coming together to do something and sharing that thing with other people for them to be on board, it's eating away in our society. So it's really just a call for us as family people that, hey, the most important people have to be given the first priority in our space.
She said the bond the competition sought to foster was achieved.
Cousins Baby has done phenomenally well over the years. Consistently, it has grown above 10% year on year. Sometimes it does even 20%. So what we realized is that we would grow regardless, but we needed now to ensure that we were also connecting with our mothers, with our consumers. And we do so very well on social media, but the rest of the population are not on social media. So this was carrying what we do, the connection, the constant engagement with mothers, about 300,000 of them on social media, and bringing it out for the entire population of Ghana to be partakers of what we are doing.
One of the finalists and winner was elated about the award.
At least you put a smile on my baby's face on all the effort that she took in. So I'm very grateful. I just like the smile on my baby's and my mother's face. We're even calling our enemies, calling everybody, the family, my family outside. We're calling everybody to help us vote. So actually we worked hard for this.
Now, economist Professor Cletus Dodonu is urging government to commit resources to priority areas including education and health in next year's budget. According to him, plans by government to raise a $50 billion century bond could yield positive results if the funds are used judiciously.
With less than a month to the reading of the 2019 budget and economic statements, expectations are already high about how government intends to raise revenue and areas it is likely to expand. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has hinted government intends to raise a $50 billion century bond to help finance major infrastructure projects. If it succeeds, this will be the first and biggest bond issuance by the country. Speaking with TV3 Business, Professor Dodonu says the money should be used judiciously.
I expect the budget to lay emphasis, for instance, on this whole idea about education. Let us not deceive ourselves that education is free. Somebody is paying. Taxpayers are paying the bill. So we still need money. We have to raise revenue. If we don't have it, go get it. Let the infrastructure not be handled by short-term facilities.
The reading of the budget comes at a time over 1 million Ghanaians, according to the Center for Socioeconomic Studies, have lost their jobs since 2017. The job cuts span the industrial, banking and mining sectors, as well as the media and services sector. Professor Dodonu expects government to create an enabling environment for the private sector to function.
48% of the youth are unemployed. Find job for them. But government should not be in the business of creating jobs directly. They should create the environment. The private sector of Ghana is very tough. Even with the high cost of doing business, they are still on the road trying to make a living.
This is NEWS360. We're taking a breather.
Welcome to the entertainment segment of News 360. And the marketing director of GTP, Stephen Bedu, has lauded TV3 for the successful organization of Ghana's most beautiful pageant over the years. He made these remarks at the launch of the company's new fabric, GTP Adepa Dumas, onto the Ghanaian market.
The 7 remaining ladies in the GMB house graced the launch of GTP's 2 new exciting products. GTP outdoor the GTP Adepa Dumas, a premium quality fabric targeted at women who know their worth and express their style with grace and confidence. With the aid of VG Jala app, a new value-added fashion app, customers can select the most appropriate fabric for any occasion. The reigning GMB queen, Zainab, who joined other dignitaries to launch the fabric, thank GTP for clothing her for the past 1 year.
Winning Ghana's Most Beautiful 2017. They've been sponsoring me for every occasion, so it has been so amazing and blessed working with them.
The GMB ladies were elated to be present at the launch.
Well, I think they are doing so well. Their designs are so amazing.
I'm very excited. Seeing we young ones, the youth having this is just great. And the thank ups to GTP for bringing this amazing cloth.
The marketing director of GTP, Stephen Bedu, expressed satisfaction with GTP's association with the GMB brand, adding the company looks forward to a more fruitful partnership in the coming years.
And we're excited to be part of Ghana's Most Beautiful. Indeed, this product, GTP Adepa Dumas, is meant or is targeted at people like these young ladies, people of class, people who want to show who they are. Well, I want to commend TV3, as I always do, for this platform, which is Ghana's Most Beautiful. And I want to urge you to, keep up doing the good job you are doing. I want to congratulate all the ladies, and I wish the best lady success.
The winner of this year's GMB will have the honors of being clothed by GTP for a year.
Right, so aside providing an atmosphere of worship, the 2018 Ghana Worship Summit will offer tutorials on music production, online distribution and marketing. The summit, to be attended by gospel musicians, will see industry influencers propose innovative measures to protect musical works from piracy.
The Ghana Worship Summit, an interdenominational worship event, is tipped to assemble top gospel stars and music lovers to worship and praise God. Expected to perform are acclaimed gospel names including Francis Amu, Cynthia Macaulay and Jeshurun Otre. Also gracing the stage will be Jonathan Gambella, Mona Abel from France and Minister Isaac Frimpong from UK. The summit will again educate industry players on a host of topics including music production and online distribution.
We'll be looking at the delivery, we'll be looking at the sound, the creation of the music, its relevance to the market. When we say praise, what does it really mean? When we say worship, what does it really mean? Also looking at our lyrical content.
People are singing just anything and they call it gospel. So we want to look at what is gospel music, because for what I know, if you are a gospel musician, you are for the Lord and you sing for him, you sing his word and his message. And so this is the right time for us to address things like this to help us.
Musicians, artist managers and executive producers will leave the summit grabbing one or two about how to protect their work from piracy.
You'd go on the street and you'd see other people copying these CDs and selling it. What are we putting in place? We're going to be discussing, measures. We're going to be discussing how we can protect ourselves as artists. Because yes, it is for gospel music, but then also we have to understand the business side of things. We can't just do music just for doing sake. There must be some sort of profitability coming out of it as an artist, because without any profit, you cannot grow.
The Ghana Worship Summit will take place at the Calvary Charismatic Church, Apemkwa, Accra.
Well, that'll do for tonight's bulletin on News 360. Thanks so much for your time. My name is Nanekuya Mensa Brampa.
My name is Issa Moni. Keep watching TV3 and enjoy your weekend.